is presented. So what I noticed though with the other side, and this is not everyone, there are some people who've done a lot of research and they've come to their conclusions, but the majority of them haven't done a lot of research. They've listened to what my one friend left from before the pandemic. He actually doesn't agree with me. So we actually have a lot of debates. And he says, I just trust my government. You don't trust them. Like, oh, cool, you have time to do all this research. I don't have time. And I trust my institutions. He's like, I trust Fauci. I trust Trudeau. And I was like, well, okay, cool. But look into it. Like, you need to investigate. He's like, but I trust them. I completely trust them. I'm like, well, maybe they mean it. What if they're wrong? Like, what if they've made a mistake? And I pointed out situations. So I'm like, at one point they said that there could be no transmission after you get the vaccine. They were wrong about that. You know that that's not true. So is it possible that they're wrong about other things too? So you have a responsibility to look into it. And he just disagrees with me on that point. I don't really understand that. But the point is, I will never not have a conversation with him about it when he brings it up. I typically don't bring it up. He brings it up. He starts a debate, and we always have a civilized, calm, and respectful debate. And then when it starts to, sometimes we kind of get like maybe a little bit more heated, not that we have like raised voices or anything, but maybe I sound a bit more stern and he sounds a bit more stern, and we're kind of going back and forth, and then we go, hey, let's change the topic because like we're not making any headway here. Let's do this again another time. And then we'll just joke about something else or like watch a movie or something, right? So that stuff can be really, really frustrating, but you just need to keep having those conversations. And I've noticed on certain points, he's started to go, actually, I saw this one paper on ivermectin and I was really surprised. And I'm like, well, let's talk about that later. I'd be totally happy to have that conversation. So I think the whole thing is we need to just talk to people, but don't shove things down their throats. Don't force them to have the same viewpoint. And listen to them when they're talking, like have that same respect and courtesy. And I think that's the only real way we move forward. At the end of the day, I truly believe like all the information that I've seen and then the things that I've seen in real life, we're on the right track and we have the right intentions. So stick to that side.
I think what you're doing there is great. Keep talking and maybe move the argument from the science and the studies, because I'm pretty sure I read a study that said studies are flawed. So, let's try and move the argument away from there into where it's coming from. So the source is coming from the government. Keep having the political conversations. Keep talking about things in the government. Eventually, there's going to be an item where he gets burned by his own government, where he said, oh, I thought they had my back there, but they didn't. At some point, he's going to be directly touched by the government lying to him, and he'll see it. At that point, when the seed of doubt of your government is in there, then you can absolutely start to say, hey, now that you understand that they are fallible, they do make mistakes. We're not saying they're evil. We're not saying reject everything they're saying. We're suggesting that maybe for everything they give you, at least open it up and take a look, because they can be imperfect. Right, because this is made up of our neighbors, and our neighbors are imperfect. So, look, I'm not saying reject it all, because I think that's a too extreme position to take. I'm also not saying accept it all, because that's too extreme of a position to take. I'm saying take a look. You wouldn't blindly eat your fast food if you have allergies. So let's say you don't like onions. You can't have onions. You wouldn't blindly just throw it in because I told them no onion, so let me just accept the fact that they did it right. No, they will make mistakes. You will get extra onion because somebody misread the order. So you would check. You would do one little check. So I'm suggesting maybe you can say to your friend, look, I get where you're coming from, but the only thing that we're doing different here is I trust but verify. And you just trust. And I would highly suggest you maybe do that and verify step, because you will learn that this is an imperfect system. It's an imperfect government. And it's really up to us to make individual choices based on what we learn. So keep it up. And I'm glad that you're not pushing this friend away. I've lost friends. Okay. I'm glad you're not pushing this away. I actually had a friend told me, he goes, call me up when you're done this conservatism thing. I don't even know what that means. I have my beliefs. It's not a conservatism thing. But in either case,